from the photo finish camera. Look at that. That's how close it was. If you're on All Mine, you've got done by about 3 pimples. Beachside certainly knew where the post was, and Michael Clark and David Hayes know where it is today, and I think their horses do, because they've won 3 of 4 races on Derby Day. Quite an achievement. And they've got 2 of the Plum horses in the Gadsden, Grandiose and Planet Ruler, of which Peter Hutchinson will be riding number 4, Planet Ruler. There was confusion over the jockeys, while John Didham will now ride number 14, Crimson Medal. Damien Oliver was to be overweight, so Jay Didham on 14, P. Hutchinson on number 4. Placings on the 4th event, the Wakeful Stakes, 11, 7 and 2, 11, 7, 2. Correct weights there from Pat Lawler. All clear to pay. You can now get back on the telephone accounts, or down to the TAB, but first let's have a look what you're going to collect. Beachside 10.90 and 2.55, All Mine 2.20, Triscay 80 cents, Quinella $82.50, and the trifecta $749.65. Placings 11, 7 and 2 on race 4.
And their Melbourne dividends checking the WA totes then on the 4th. The Wakeful Stakes won by number 11 Beachside, $11.35 the win and $2.60 the place. Second was 7 All Mine, $1.65, and third 2 Triscay, 70 cents. The Quinella $49.70. The trifecta on 11, 7 and 2, $489.20. Another winner for the Hayes Clark combination.
Ladies and gentlemen, just witnessed the running of the MEPC Wakeful Stakes. The Wakeful Stakes has been with us a long time. A great win by Beachside with a 17 Black Syndicate. They've also won 2 other stakes races this spring carnival. I'd like to say congratulations to David Hayes. He's had a very quick start to this spring carnival, and a much better start than his father did last year. Congratulations to him. I'd like to introduce Mr. James Broadbent, the Managing Director of MEPC.
Mr. Ramsden, distinguished guests, we've just seen a great race won by Beachside, ridden home very well by Michael Clark. On behalf of MEPC Australia, I congratulate all the connections and everyone involved. I'm sometimes asked why a property developer like MEPC supports horse racing. Well, horse racing is about achieving success and quality, and that's basically what MEPC tries to do in its business. The MEPC Wakeful Stakes have been won by many great fillies over the years. Tristan went on to win the Oaks last year. We hope Beachside may be able to go on and achieve similar success. Once again, congratulations to all involved.
Yes, indeed, congratulations. It was a super run. You just saw her there just coming up to nudge the post. Well, race 5's at 2.50. It's the Gadsden Ream. Plenty of money around for Submariner. Also with me, Joanne. All tips in the race. Let's check the totes and back to Dan.
Big sprint race of the year, almost the equal of the Newmarket Handicap. Mr. Tiz from New Zealand, $7.40. Redelva, $8. Grandiose, $3.60. Planet Ruler won it last year, $7.05. Beau George, $12. Show County, $9.10. Patriro, $29. Recordbite, $4.65. Joanne, $2.50. To number 10, which is Rise and Shine, $20. So Stacey Big Odds, Submariner, $5.20. Big Odds for the next couple, Gladful at $9.35. Gypsy Rogue, $34.55. Power Prince, Carl Garrentown. And the one underneath them, Sender Sign, all trained by George Hanlon. Welcome Night, $12.55. With me, $4.65. And the bottom 2 at pretty big odds. Peter Donegan likes number 21, which is With Me. In brilliant form at the moment, both Peter and With Me. And Graham Kelly selects number 12, Submariner, the horse who won the big race, the Vic Hell Show Day Cup, Peter, on show day.
Well, Dan, this race is so open. I think you could probably find a fair bit of value here, Dr. Turf, and some of the track specialists too have come up big odds on the tape.
They certainly have, Pete, and you know, in such a big field like this, anything you like really is going to be good value, isn't it? Because it's very hard finding a winner in these huge fields. I think I'll stick with number 2, Redelva. He loves this straight course here at Flemington, Pete. He's not too badly weighted with the 57.5. Good, strong gelding. He'll be hard to beat. He's very big odds here on the Victorian tote. And the other one, the one who's been freshened up again, is Submariner. He always races well fresh, Pete, Submariner. He's nicely weighted, got Cassidy on board, and he's also showing good each-way value on the tote. So in a particularly tough race, they're the 2 I'll stick with, Redelva and Submariner.
Tim, and it is going to be one of the finest attractions for the afternoon, a real classic race. But so too is this sprint, the Gadsden Ream Stakes. It's got some of the best sprinters. In fact, it's got the best sprinters in Australia in it. There's no doubt about it. Mr. Tiz, Redelva, Grandiose, Planet Ruler, Beau George, Show County, Patriro, Record by Joanne. They're all magnificent animals, and you can see just how open the race is on the tote. Joanne, the favourite, at 4-1. Rise and Shine, Sir Stacey, Submariner, Select Prince, Crimson Medal, Gladful, Gypsy Rogue, Power of Prince, Culgaran Town. There's some big odds there, but it would be no real surprise even if one of those got up at 101, because they all are very classy animals. The Derby, as I said, Canny Lad's still favourite in that race. He obviously will run the Popular Elect, and Lycra and Big Dermot, one of the, or two of the other top chances in the race. But the racing from here on, we've got the proven gallopers. We've had the young horses in the first 4 races, a 2-year-old event, 3 3-year-old races, and now, Tim, we're going to see the best proven race horses in the Southern Hemisphere in the next 4 races.
Indeed we are. Some great racing to come. But how do you bet? I know there might be a few of you watching us that have never really spent too much time at the TAB, and when you first look at that little card, it is a bit of a daunting prospect. But here's the basics: how to bet, win and place.
To place a bet at the TAB is simple. This is a standard betting card. To have a bet for a win only, say on the Melbourne Cup, mark the venue, Melbourne. Then mark the event. That is races. Next, mark the race number. The Cup is race 5. And then the horse of your choice, say number 3. To indicate how much you want to bet, mark the number of units. Each unit is worth 50 cents. For those in Queensland, it's $1. To have a bet for a win, mark win only. To have a bet for a place, mark place only. For an each-way bet, mark win and place, but for this, a unit will cost you $1. It's that simple, so good luck.
Good luck indeed. Let's hope you win a lot of money. We'll take a break from the Melbourne Cup Carnival. You're watching Derby Day on Channel 10 around Australia. Yes, there's plenty of red ones and blue ones changing hands down there in the betting ring as they place their wagers here at the Melbourne Cup Carnival on Derby Day. The 5th coming up at 2:50, about 15 minutes away, and that's the Gadsden Ream. We've heard from our fellas what they think. Gladful, money for Gladful, Submariner as well, with me, and a big field, and as our tipsters tell you, pretty hard.
Pete, he's won 8 from 16. He looked awful in the at Caulfield in the Coonji handicap, but he won very well, and whether he's up to this class or not, we'll see. But just at the price, he might run a very, very good race.
Well, Kessom showing round about 12-1 at the moment on the tote. Better loosen up, certain to be favourite in the ring, and I'll bet they're coming for him in a big way down there, Bobby.
Gee, they are. Better loosen up is very, very tight in the market here, but surprisingly enough, the blokes that are here every week and have always got a quid in their kick, they want to back Stylish Century, and he's very tight in the market. Citizen is 3rd favourite. There are a number of others in the race like Torific that people are interested in from a Melbourne Cup point of view, but the serious money today is going to go on stock.
2 of the feature sprint races through the spring this year. Some of the jockeys are getting ready to mount their horses. Big field, 23 runners, Peter Donegan and Grave Kelly. Marvellous field of sprinters, probably the best that I've seen.
Certainly the best I've seen for a long time too, Dan, and I can tell you it's a pretty hectic scene down here in the mounting yard too, with 23 runners here. And, well, about the only other time it gets busy like this, Graham, is with the Newmarket or the Melbourne Cup.
That's exactly correct. And in this race, Peter, I'd say there's probably about 20 chances. Any one of 20 horses could win without really surprising.
Well, is the top one of them?
Well, I think Mr. Tiz comes over from New Zealand with a very good reputation. He's one of his last 2 starts over there. Weight for age at his last appearance. He has Lance O'Sullivan in the saddle. He's an excellent jockey. He's nicely drawn in 16 because he'll have plenty of room from there, and Mr. Tiz certainly a chance.
You couldn't fault Rodelva's form, a second to Joanne 2 runs ago, beaten 3/4 of a length, and then got to the line very strongly when beaten 4 lengths by With Me in the Moir Stakes at Moonee Valley last time. He loves this track. He's got 57 and he's drawn 19, but the extra 200 metres will suit him, and he is a top chance.
Number 3, Grandiose, has won 5 races down the Flemington Straight. He is a straight specialist, but he has drawn barrier 1. It might sound a bit Irish, but barrier 1, he's going to need some luck to get away from the rails and begin his finishing burst. But the way Michael Clark's riding, he'll be able to do that, and if he does, Grandiose will certainly be right in the finish.
Lee Hutchinson is the new rider for number 4, Planet Ruler, now in the David Hayes stable, and who'd bet that he couldn't win another race? He's already won 3. No luck in his last 2 runs, Planet Ruler. He won this race last year, so he likes this course, and again, he's one of the chances in a very, very open race.
Another prospect is number 6, Show County. He showed blistering pace at Moonee Valley last week, faded in the final 50 metres of the race. He'll be improved by that run, and he'll appreciate the Flint hard track here today. There's no doubt Show County will go out and set the pace. The question mark will be whether he can run the last 200 metres out.
Number 8, Recordbite, was a big effort first up, and it ran second behind Rare Chance here at Flemington, and then 9-2 into 13-4 and flopped in the Show Day Cup, but should improve with a nice draw here, barrier number 2.
Number 9, Joanne, with Shane Dye in the saddles. A lovely mare by Masquet. She has 8 wins and a second from her 9 starts. A brilliant winner here of the Rupert Steele Stakes at the last start, beating Redelva and Grandiose. And Joanne certainly will be very hard to beat, and she'll be coming home well.
Jimmy Cassidy's mount is number 12, Submariner, and Graham, I know it's your choice in the race, so tell us why you think it can win.
Well, Submariner won the Show Day Cup in very good style, up 2.5 kilos for that win, but comes in nicely on weights just the same. Drawn out a bit wide in 21, but Bart Cummings tells me that the opposition will have to run under 1.9 to beat Submariner.
The one that probably isn't all that well weighted is the 3-year-old filly, number 21, With Me. You can see there she's only pint size, but she finished brilliantly in the Moir Stakes. When Stephen King said go, she put 4 lengths between herself and the opposition. She's got an extra 200 metres here, and she's drawn wide, but I think she's all class, and I think she can almost win today in this big race, the Gadsden Ream Stakes. So it's With Me from myself, and Graham Kelly selects number 12, Submariner, but as we've already said, any number of chances here, and Dr. Turf has all the latest as they go to the stalls.
Yes, Peter, very, very tough race here. The 3 chances, there's plenty of value here. Number 2, Redelva. Number 8, Recordbite, looks very, very well. He's been well tried in the ring. He does like this straight course. I think he's got a very good chance. And, of course, the other one was number 12, Submariner. Very well weighted, very hard to beat.
Come back. Dan Malecki will...
Getting set for the Gadsden Ream Stakes. They're actually on their way to the barrier for this fantastic event. It's a Group 1 sprint down the famous straight here at Flemington, which is 6 furlongs or 1,200 metres in length, and there'll be 23 horses charging down the straight. It's going to be a fantastic sight. Bob Mormel, there would be a heck of a lot of horses to look at in this, and I think, well, there'd have to be about 15 horses that want to be backed in this race, surely.
I can't believe it, Dan. If you'd have told me this morning that With Me would have finished up on the 3rd line of favouritism, I'd have said, well, that's just not possible when you consider a recent form. But this filly has been uneasy in the betting. There has been a tremendous move for Joanne. Of course, she's been tight from the opening go, better than each way odds. But Submariner, Recordbite and Grandiose, even as we speak, Grandiose is tightening up yet again and is threatening Joanne for favouritism, and With Me is out there at very, very comfortable each way odds. So how did she look, Dan? How did With Me look? Was there any reason why the punter should desert her for the others?
Bobby, I know she did have a bandage on her off hot. I don't know, maybe she was getting down on bumpers or something, because I don't think she had it last Saturday when she won at Moonee Valley. That may have had something to do with it, but don't forget she has to carry weight for age, which is a lot for a little filly to do so in a race like this. A lot of horses actually meet her worse or better off at the weights. Gladful is 9 kilos better off at the weights.
Well, you can get very, very generous each way odds. In fact, odds that we would describe as a great luxury about Gladful. There's been no significant move for Gladful. But we look at a great galloper like Redelva, and I look up at the board that's got Nifty Nev from the Western Districts on Redelva. There's hardly been $1 for Redelva, a great sprinter, yet, and With Me, yet they want Submariner, Grandiose, and of course Joanne. So it'll be an interesting one and a tough one to call, Danny.
It will be indeed. I tell you what, if you can pick the winner, you're almost a genius as well. Bobby, thanks a lot, Gay Waterhouse. It really will be a tough one to pick the winner of, but Rick Lacey has had some great horses in the past. He's got another good little 3-year-old unspoken word in this.
Well, yes, Rick Lacey standing here with me has a 100-to-1 pop in this race, but you certainly won't have in the Derby. You'll have the favourite in the Derby with Canny Lad.
Yes, it certainly appears that way again.
And Rick, are you confident for him for the Derby?
I'm very happy with his general condition, and I guess he's the best horse in the race, or best performed horse in the race, so we're hoping for the best.
And with today, with Unspoken Word in this race, and how do you think she'll run?
He's an underrated horse, always has been. That doesn't mean that everybody should have a mad rush to the toes, but I think he'll run well.
Well, all the best in this, and I hope that the horse can do it in the Derby.
Thank you, Gay.
Gay Waterhouse with Rick Hall-Lacey. Man, a few words, crackers, but I'll tell you what, in this race, you know yourself, these have got to be, I can't get over the field itself. It's got to be the best sprinting field I've ever seen. You've been around longer than I have.
Well, they're almost millionaires, Dan. Most look at their prize money, and most of them won over $500,000. And just to look behind me now, I can see some of the greatest jockeys in Australia and the best sprinters, and they're all milling around there. And you could have 10 picks, and this would be wrong, but it's going to be a real challenge for the jocks, because there's the 23 runners. They're going to charge down. They're going to try and look for position. They've got to get out of the barrier quick and really get moving. But the horse that a couple of horses I fancy, Beau George. I like Beau George, and I do like Gladful.
Crackers, thanks, mate. John Letts has ridden Redelva early on in his career. Jono, he's a top horse, and can he keep going? He's 7 years old now.
Well, Dan, he just seems to be getting better with age, and he's won nearly $1 million now. It's going to be interesting to see what the jockeys do, because he's drawn out in barrier 16, and if the outside's faster than the inside, I think it brings Redelva and those good horses well into the race out there. The horse that I did like in the race was Grandiose. He's a specialist here. He's like Redelva, loves the 1200 at Flemington. Drawn barrier 1, and he's going to need a lot of luck, but gee whiz, the way David Hayes is going at the moment, he's going to get that luck. Him and Michael Clark. The Grandiose will be very hard to beat. Sentimentally, I'd like to see Redelva win the race, but there's some great horses in it. Joanne's a very good filly. With Me's a very good filly, and gee, how are you going to, beat them? And this is going to be one of the greatest tests over the carnival, I'd say.
If you were still riding today, who would your pick be?
Well, I'd be riding Redelva if I was riding today, but I'd say Grandiose was the hardest to beat. Redelva was in against horses like Snippets and Special when they were at their very top, and he could hold his own against them, and he's going to be very hard to beat, but I just doubt it being on the outside, Dan, that whether that's going to be an advantage today.
All right, thanks, John. Horses moving in well for this great sprint. Mr. Tiz, 630, Redelva 780. What prices for these horses? 390 Grandiose, 760 Planet Ruler, 935 Show County. Almost forgotten about horse, $5 Rechabite, 245 for Joanne, and over the page 540 for Submariner, $10 for Gladful. And of course, with Me, a little bit easy, as Bob Mormore was telling us before. And on the tote, she's at about $4.20 now. So we're still about an 8-to-1 chance on the tote, which is quite extravagant value. Runners filling the gates well. Group 1, 1,200-metre sprint. Calgarentown going in. One of 3 horses trained by George Hanlon, and they're all former Western Australians. Power Prince, Calgarentown, and Send a Sign. Jockey is Kevin Forrester. Gate 22, Calgarentown going up 2 in the red blinkers. And only Lady of Perfection behind her. She's drawn barrier 23 with Saddlecock number 22. The Hayes and Clark combination have won 3 of the first 4 races. And they combine with Grandiose, but David also trains number 4 Planet Ruler, who won this race last year, but when trained by Bruce McLaughlin. Now, Lady of Perfection coming up to her gate. And this great field of sprinters are set to go for the Gadsden. The light's on, and they're off and racing now. Gypsy Rogue has jumped away reasonably well. So too did Select Prince and Rechabite, and over on the inside, going away quickly was Grandiose. Gladful and Joanne was going very fast, and so too was Show County. They're all going across to the flat side as well. Submariner's out very wide, but he's going to get back a bit with Rise and Shine. And Redelva's probably the widest runner as they go to the 800 metres point. Show County going like the wind, leads by a length and a quarter. Second was Send a Sign. Third would be Gypsy Rogue. Then Select Prince up on the inside. Just in behind those was Rechabite. And they were followed by With Me, close and handy. Just behind them, Joanne. They were followed by Gladful. Redelva's out wider on the track from Rise and Shine. Unspoken Word, Power Prince. Then Grandiose, Calgarentown, Planet Ruler behind a wall of horses. Submariner very wide out from Lady of Perfection. Welcome Night, Crimson Medal. Down towards the 300, Show County, 3 in front. With Me in second placing. Here comes the big fella, Redelva, down the outside from Gypsy Rogue. Submariner, Planet Ruler starting to flash out wide. Show County in front. Redelva's got to him. Look at Planet Ruler. Show County battling on Redelva, but the Ruler 2 in a row on the Gadsden Rim. Planet Ruler over the top, does it again. Wins it a length. Redelva second. second. Gypsy Road just got third in front of Welcome Night, which flashed. And then Joanne, Crimson Medal, Mr. Tiz. Further back, Beau George, Submariner, Rechabite. Show County behind them, and then Sender Sign, Calgarin Town, Submariner. Select Prince and Sir Stacey, Unspoken Word, Petrero, Lady of Perfection, Power Prince. Then With Me, Gladful near the tail with Rise and Shine. And what an unbelievable sprinter.
Danny, what about the time? 1:08.1.
That takes 0.2 of a second off the track record,
Held by Planet Ruler.
Yep,
and he's broken his own record this year, and what a lucky ride for Peter Hutchison in the $300,000 race. I think Damien Oliver was supposed to ride the horse, and he had a double engagement. And Peter Hutchison jumped on Planet Ruler, and up he's got and won the Gadsden. But Redelva, gee, a great run in second place. Danny, he's a great horse, isn't he?
He did look to win it, didn't he, at the 300? It's actually a shame to see him get beaten,
yes,
I suppose.
It was a shame to see him beaten, because that would be the fastest he's ever gone down the Flemington Straight 6 and been beaten. The fastest time he's ever run. But Planet Ruler, as we said before the race, David Hayes, how are you going to beat him? There he is back behind a wall of horses, and I can remember you, Dan, calling him behind a wall of horses trying to get through, and here's Peter Hutchison gradually getting him out. And I think we clocked this horse last year when he won the Gadsden at running his last 400 metres in 22 seconds. So here he goes. He's the third last horse in the picture at the moment, and here he is starting to come home. But Peter Hutchison, the son of Ron Hutchison, and I'd say Dad would be thinking, I think this kid's going to do a lot more than I did, because he's a great rider in Adelaide. He's a leading rider in Adelaide, and I think the sky's the limit for this young bloke.
He's riding Water Boatman in the Cup, Melbourne Cup on Tuesday, and that's not beyond him either.
No, and he could go on and win a Melbourne Cup this year, but there's Redelva just getting past Show County, and here comes the big fella on the outside as well. Two big horses in the race, Planet Ruler, and just goes past Redelva, and you know, it's a shame to see a horse like Redelva get beaten, but also Planet Ruler's a great horse too, and that takes his stake earnings up to Danny something like, what is it, about $700,000, $800,000. He's nearly in the Millionaires Club.
Unbelievable. Of course, the Quinella was tipped on the news last night as well. Planet Ruler coming back to scale. David Hayes, what a day on Derby Day 4 and 5. And let's now go down to Peter Hutchison's father, champion, legendary Australian jockey, Ron Hutchison.
Well, I can't get the son, but I've got the father.
Well, Gay, it was marvellous, wasn't it?
Fantastic, Ronnie.
Yes, I couldn't believe it. You know, when he's sort of out of sight, and then all of a sudden he produces it at the right moment. It was really marvellous.
Well, he really came with the most scintillating burst, didn't he?
Yes, yeah. Lucky to get the ride, of course, and you know, but he's given it a good ride, and I'm so delighted. It's not true.
You must have given him a few hints when he was an apprentice, Ron.
Gay, he wouldn't listen to me. Wouldn't listen to me. He's like you. He wouldn't listen to your father. You know what? Must listen to your father.
Thank you, Ron.
Thank you. Lovely. Thank you.
Okay. Ron Hutchison, father of the jockey on screen, Peter Hutchison. Look at the smile on his face. He won the Group 1 Adelaide Cup earlier in the year, and now the Gadsden Reed, Jono. It must be a great feeling. Look at the reception he's getting. Horse is probably 15 or 16 to 1, but the thrill.
You know, Dan, Peter Hutchison's been one of the quiet achievers in Adelaide, and he's just got better and better as he's gone on, and I think he's about 25, 24 years old now, and I mean, he rides very well. He positions his horses beautifully, and he's a great thinker in a race.
Go a long way. Big chance in the Melbourne Cup now. Horses come back to scale on the Group 1 Gadsden Ream Stakes. 4, 2 and 16 of the placings. We'll take a break and we'll come back. And, of course, the next one's the McKinnon. Will Hayes make it 5? Welcome back to Flemington. Greg Mann's talking to his jockey Neil Williams about why Gladful didn't finish the race off the way he perhaps was expected to. He finished down the track in the Gadsden Stakes, Gadsden Ream Stakes, which was won brilliantly by Planet Ruler and this jockey Peter Hutchinson. Great thrill, and I'm pretty sure that would be his first winner in Victoria, but certainly at Flemington anyway. So what a great thrill. The first win at Flemington to come in a Group 1 race as the Gadsden Ream Stakes. And David Hayes' luck at the moment, well, he's just running super hot. 5 races, 4 winners, a Group 1 winner. Better loose enough to come in the LKS McKinnon Stakes. That's Pat Lawler checking the jockeys as they come through to weigh in, making sure that they've carried their correct weight throughout the race. Brian Werner, the rider of Welcome Night, finishing 4th. And Shane Dye, who rode Joanne into 5th placing. It was the first time that she's actually missed the place in 10 starts. Correct weight is there. Correct weight from Pat Lawler for the numbers 4, 2 and 16. And let's check the dividends across Australia.
In WA in the Gadsden Stakes, number 4, Planet Ruler, $7.05 the win, $2.25 the place. Second, 2, Redelva, $2.30. And third was 16, Gypsy Rogue at $8.85. The Quinella, $47.10. If you're lucky enough to get the trifecta on numbers 4, 2 and 16, it paid $6,106.60. And the win number 4 for David Hayes.
Racing to win deals. In Australia. The McKinnon Stakes, Better Loosen Up, was at $1.20 and 70. Sedestin $3.45, $7.10 for Kessam, $9.60 Royal Creation, $9.35 Terrific. Stylish Century's come up very short, $1.85. His second favourite, and clearly on the screen shortly, I hope, for Peter and Graham's sake. Stylish Century from Peter, and Better Loosen Up from Graham Kelly, who stuck to the champion horse who won the Cox Plate only last Saturday. Peter, big one, this one. What's Dr. Turf going to do here? That's the question on everybody's lips. Will he go Better Loosen Up, or will he go value?
Well, we're about to find out. Stylish Century is the one for me, Dan, as we've seen, because I think he might lead and just be ridden a little bit more quietly than last week. But D.A. Hayes, I mean, he could train a broomstick to win at the moment.
On fire at the moment, Pete, and they've served him up pretty short here, Better Loosen Up, Pete. And I suppose he's the one to beat because he's the best horse in the land, but I'm going to go for Stylish Century. I thought he was ridden a little bit impatiently at Moonee Valley last week. I think if Kevin allows him to stride for the first 1,000 here and then takes off at about the 1,000, he might be a lot harder to run down here today than he was last week. And for a roughie, I think I might throw in Kessam, Pete. He's won 8 from 16. He looked awful in the, at Caulfield, in the Coonji handicap, but he won very well, and whether he's up to this class or not, we'll see. But just at the price, he might run a very, very good race.
Well, Kessam showing round about 12 to 1 at the moment on the tote. Better Loosen Up, certain to be favourite in the ring, and I'll bet they're coming for him in a big way down there, Bobby.
Gee, they are. Better Loosen Up is very, very tight in the market here, but surprisingly enough, the blokes that are here every week and have always got a quid in their kick, they want to back Stylish Century, and he's very tight in the market. Citizen is third favourite. There are a number of others in the race like Terrific that people are interested in from a Melbourne Cup point of view, but the serious money today is going to go on Stylish Century. That won't stop Better Loosen Up from running favourite, but Stylish Century is going to be a lot tighter in the market than a lot of people thought he'd be, and Citizen is at very, very generous odds indeed. Dan, if I've got time for an update on the Derby, I'd like to tell you that Canny Lad has tightened right up. Unbelievably short now, Canny Lad. And Lycra, for whom there was a flurry of money for the Derby earlier in the day, with One Sydney Identity, who's well known to us all, putting a great deal of money on him, she's now gone out to double-figure odds, with Big Dermot, the other firmer, along with Canny Lad. But down here in the ring for this race, Better Loosen Up's going to run favourite with serious money on Stylish Century.
Bobby, I don't know if you can still...
Yeah, go ahead, Dan. Sorry.
Can you hear me? I know we're not allowed to mention prices here, but I can read my totem on it. A Better Loosen Up is $1.20, say, for 50 cents. Is that equal to his price in the ring? Just tell us, is it better or worse?
That's about his price in the ring. I don't know what Stylish Century is on your tote, but very, very tight indeed, and not much better in some quarters than Better Loosen Up.
All right, thanks,
Bobby. See it as a race in 2, Dan, with Stylish Century, the one solidly supported to beat the fave.
Should be a ripper. The Gadsden, if that's any indication, it was a sensational race. And the McKinnon, I think, is going to be just as good. Tim, we've got a lot to look forward to in this next race.
I defy you, Dan, to find better horses. Big day and a beautiful day here at Flemington for the running of the Derby. Lots of people in brilliant sunshine, just a few clouds around. There they are. Jockeys getting up and getting prepared. Let's have a look at this course for the LKS McKinnon. Classic race, weight for age, over 2,000 metres for the 3-year-olds and up. And there's plenty of stars in it. Some of the best racehorses you'll find. Better Loosen Up, Citizen, Stylish Century. They're all in this race. Let's check the totes. Here's Dan.
Better Loosen Up has come up $1.10. Well, that's the update. $1.10. Sid Eston 360. Kessam 7.15. Royal Creation 9.55. Stylish Century at $2, number 9. And we go over the page. Solar Circle 10.45. Just the Dancers Willing Commission at $8. $394,000, $243,000 in the respective win and place pools. To Peter and Graham's selections. Peter likes Stylish Century, and Graham has tipped Better Loosen Up. So 9 Stylish Century from Peter, and Graham number 1 Better Loosen Up. Pete, runners from the mounting yard, some very talented horse flesh in there. Not only have we got the best racehorse in Australia, but we also might have the Melbourne Cup winner.
Well, it could be the Melbourne Cup winner, but as you said, Dan, it's just a pleasure to look in the mounting yard here and see some of the talent on offer here in the LKS McKinnon Stakes. Graham, over the years we've seen some great horses, but I doubt that we've seen one greater in recent years than Better Loosen Up with his weight for age record of late.
No, certainly in outstanding form, Peter, with wins at his last 3 starts and a magnificent win at Moonee Valley last week in the Cox Plate. And although he only just gets there at the finish, you feel that Better Loosen Up is not quite tapped, and he can keep finding something if he has to. And I think that's the way it'll be today. I think he can get up and win again today.
Well, Better Loosen Up is the favourite. He's heading for Japan, but heading for the Melbourne Cup is number 2, Citizen. And today, Neville Wilson has the ride. On Tuesday, Mick Dittman will be aboard. Now, Citizen, well, what can you say about his record? He won the Caulfield Stakes, defeating Superimpose. He then came out and scored a magnificent victory in the Caulfield Cup, and he had the race won at the 100-metre mark last week in the Cox Plate, and was just collared on the line by Better Loosen Up. He almost emulated the feats of some great horses, including Rising Fast before him, by winning last week. He'll go into the Melbourne Cup on Tuesday, a very fit horse after today's run, and at 2,000 metres, he's going to be right there when the whips are cracking.
Another one that's capable of surprising is number 4, Kessam, with Peter Johnson, the New Zealand jockey, aboard. He won the Kunji Handicap in very good style last start, beating Kingston Rule. He's been freshened up for that race, and although he has to show himself yet at weight for age, Kessam could be one for a trifecta.
7 Royal Creation will be better off at the 2,000 metres today than the 2,400 metres of the Caulfield Cup. Ran second behind Better Loosen Up here in the Turnbull, and prior to that, second in the Underwood behind the Phantom. There's nothing wrong with that form, and they were both over this distance of 2,000 metres. On the tape, Royal Creation ran about a 17-to-1 chance, and he's got a real good hope in this race.
Number 8 is Terrific, with Darren Goutsey in the saddle. Darren, of course, will be riding Terrific in Tuesday's Melbourne Cup. Terrific won last year's Melbourne Cup after running a pleasing 9th in the McKinnon Stakes, and I think that's about the way he'll be running home today. He'll be running home just behind the place, get us round about 5th, 6th or 7th, and as you can see, looks very, very well, Terrific.
Speaking of fit-looking racehorses, have a look at this fellow, number 9, Stylish Century. You could almost see your face in his coat as he went out. He ran the first 1,000 metres in about 55 seconds last week, and they don't do that in sprint races. If he gets to the front, and there's little doubt that he will, and if he settles in front, I think Stylish Century might be able to cause the upset today in the McKinnon.
There's a lot of interest in number 12, Just a Dancer, with Jim Cassidy aboard. He won the Royal Show Handicap and the Herbert Power at Caulfield, but then failed on a wet track in the Caulfield Cup. He's since had an injury. He's over that, and Jim Cassidy's testing him as his Melbourne Cup mount today. It'll be very interesting to see how Just a Dancer performs.
So a wonderful field, a traditional lead-up to the Foster's Melbourne Cup, the LKS McKinnon Stakes. They're going to the barrier now. Dr. Turf, Stylish Century looked magnificent on the way out of the mounting yard. Anything else take your eye?
No, Peter. Actually, I thought Better Loosen Up. He's rock hard. He had a fairly tough run in the Cox Plate last week, but he hasn't taken any harm whatsoever. He looks terrific. And I thought Just a Dancer actually looked very well. I'm sure he'll get a long way back here. Now, I don't think he can win at all, but certainly from a Melbourne Cup point of view, people will be watching his run today very, very carefully. But Stylish Century, he's going to lead. He's going to be the one to run down, and Better Loosen Up, obviously the one to beat.
Right, Bob Mormell's in the betting ring. Bob, the followers of David Hayes, are they sticking with him and putting plenty on Better Loosen Up?
Yes, they've put plenty of money on Better Loosen Up, but I walked from the betting ring right round the course to the mini betting ring, if you like, down in the bird cage, and checked the prices there. Better Loosen Up is still favourite. Gee, there's a ring of confidence about the way they've backed Stylish Century. People genuinely believe that this horse can lead all the way today and hold off Better Loosen Up and a fast finishing Citizen for third. And of course, the race is chock full of interest with people looking at those contenders that, like Citizen and Terrific, that will be having their final Melbourne Cup preparation. But big money on Stylish Century today to beat the favourite Better Loosen Up, and of course the great Citizen in third spot. And I'm down here with Robbie Smurden's two Derby hopes, Big Dermot, who's been one of the best one of the best backed horses in the Derby, Big Dermot. Right now Melody's got ice packs around his leg, and we'll come back after this race to talk to Robert Smurden, the trainer, as he saddles Big Dermot, the one they've backed to beat Canny Lad today. And of course Robbie's also got Abandoned War in the race. He's being looked over there by Shane. Andrew, sorry, Andrew, what do I say to you? I know a Shane that looks just like you. Andrew's looking after Abandoned. Well, we'll come back later as that great young trainer, Robbie Smurden, saddles Big Dermy that they think can beat the favourite Canny Lad in the big one coming up. But right now, Dan, let's go back and see if Stylish Century can lead all the way and beat the champ Better Loosen Up.
Well, Bobby, you did a great job. Thanks a lot. Well, Crackers Keenan might be able to tell us that Crackers Stylish Century is one of the most immaculate-looking racehorses I think I've ever seen. I know he looks fantastic, but a horse like that, an anxious type of horse, does he sweat up going to the barrier, or does he just look $1 million?
No, he looks a treat, and he just looks like his old man Double Century who Ron McDonald trained. But I looked at Better Loosen Up, the best weight for age horse in Australia. The interesting runner, I suppose, is Dan, is Narboto, which we haven't seen, and he's a handicap of a big reputation. He's going around in a weight for age, but just looking at the horse flesh here, they are tremendous stayers, and just going right round through them. I can't see anybody beating Better Loosen Up. Probably Stylish Century will run the race of his career today because he's a bit unlucky in the Cox Plate, but Better Loosen Up, absolute champion at weight for age.
Crackers, got to be a great race. Thanks, mate. John Letts, what a field, eh?
What a field. Citizen and Better Loosen Up taking each other on again, Dan. It's going to make a crack of a race with Stylish Century going along and making the pace for them. And I wonder if Kevin Moses will try and get away with a big lead today, as he did last week on Stylish Century at Moonee Valley. But and then it'll be interesting to see who takes him up to the field, whether Michael Clark on Better Loosen Up makes the first move, or Neville Wilson on Cedestin. So it's going to be a race of tactics. There's all great jockeys riding in the race, and this is what makes racing at Flemington. But gee whiz, for a long way Stylish Century's going to have it won. But gee, Cedestin, when he went out of the yard, he really caught your eye, and I reckon he looks magnificent. So I think he can win today, and I think he can win the Melbourne Cup.
Big statement, John. Thanks a lot. Two to go up. They go up simultaneously. Cedestin going to the line with Royal Creation. The LKS McKinnon Stakes. Lights on. Racing the McKinnon. Stylish Century the best to begin. Mr. Brooker just to dance. Both a bit slow. Terrific dropped out to the tail. Stylish Century landed in front of Naboto and Kessam. Better Loosen Up's up in fourth placing today. Going up around him, Royal Creation, with now Mr. Brooker and Dual Treasures, followed by Cedestin. And Just a Dance is going back to the tail of the field now with Terrific. As they settle down with about 1,600 metres to go, and Stylish Century doesn't get out that far in front today. Led by a length and a half, Dual Treasures gets across to be second. Third was Royal Creation, followed by Narboto and then Kessam. Over on the inside was Better Loosen Up in about sixth position, about 2.5 lengths further back. Two over on the inside, Just a Dance, through a length and a half, Cedestin. Then Solar Circle back to second last, and 1.5 away last of all was Terrific, and he's about 12 lengths off the leader, Stylish Century. About 1,300 metres to go on the McKinnon Stakes, and Stylish Century led by a length and a half, the Dual Treasures. 3 lengths away, Narboto, 3/4 to Mr. Brooker, 1 to Kessam, 1/2 to Better Loosen Up, 8 off the lead. 2 lengths further back, Just a Dance, 1.5 to Solar Circle, Royal Creation. Then Cedestin, second last, and 1.5 to Terrific, 15 off the lead. Now the pace has been quickened right up by Stylish Century, and as they go towards the 900, he led by 4. Dual Treasures ridden along a bit second. 6 lengths away, Narboto, third, followed by Mr. Brooker. Now Better Loosen Up being called upon by Clark. Cedestin starting to make his run, followed by Kessam over on the inside of Terrific going forward. And behind those was Just a Dancer and Solar Circle with Royal Creation. On the turn in the McKinnon, and Stylish Century raced away. 500 metres to go, and he led by 4 lengths. Dual Treasures in second placing. Better Loosen Up got the third. Kessam running on, followed by Cedestin out very wide. Just a Dancer, Narboto, Mr. Brooker. 300 metres left to go. Stylish Century in front. Here's Better Loosen Up and Kessam down the outside. Stylish Century a length in front. Better Loosen Up wearing him down, and Kessam out wider than Mr. Brooker. Stylish Century in front. Better Loosen Up getting to him. Stylish in front. Better Loosen Up wearing him down. Better Loosen Up with Clark go to the front end. He is a champion. Better Loosen Up wins the McKinnon by a neck. Stylish second, the Gallop Run. 3 away, Mr. Brooker, followed by Kessam. Just an answer, Reynolds superbly, a great cup trial, then Solar Circle. Sedestin, Raw Creation, Torrific, still being ridden out by Gauchi, and then came Napoto, and back at the tail of the field was Jewel Treasures.
Danny, they've run 2.9 in the race, which is 2.9 outside the track record. And, you know, they've run the last half mile in 46 seconds. Better Loosen Up. He had the runner to beat Stylish Sentry. The Stylish Sentry got a good break on him, but this horse just seems unbeatable in the Japan Cup. Oh, gee whiz, isn't he going to be hard to beat in the Japan Cup? We've seen Horlicks win here last year, and after that we said, well, she'd go to Japan and acquit herself very well. She broke the world record. This horse, I think, is a better horse than Horlicks, and that's a big statement. Michael Clark understands him perfectly. He didn't seem perturbed from the 400 to the 200. Michael just rode him confidently. And there he is moving up on the outside of Stylish Sentry, racing down to about the 250, I reckon that would be. And he's just give him a couple of cracks with the whip, put it away. Kevin Moses rated the race beautifully, I thought. He didn't go too hard early, and he tried to make them all chase him home, but Stylish Sentry just wasn't equal to the task. But there he is, Michael Clark's put the whip away, just hands and heels to the line. He's given him a nice, not a soft win, but a dogged win. And but what a great racehorse he is. Better Loosen Up. He'd be the best racehorse in Australia at the moment.
No doubt. Usually the Cox Plate winner is, and I tell you what, I'd like to get some yen on him in the Japan Cup. Horlicks was 18-1 or something last year. I think Better Loosen Up might be double figures, but gee, it'd be a good bet.
I don't think he'll be anywhere near the double figures then. I think all the Australian money that goes over there with him, I think will be on him.
195 in the McKinnon. Now, John, let's have a look at the Melbourne Cup point of view. Mr. Brooker's run third. That was an unbelievable performance.
An exceptional run.
And Just a Dancer, I thought, running on. He was probably the best horse running on at the finish. Sedestin surprisingly didn't. I was a bit disappointed with him, but Just a Dancer's run was excellent. Mr. Brooker's just as good.
I was a bit disappointed in Sedestin's run because he was, although he was 3 and 4 wide down the side early, he couldn't get in Neville Wilson. He drew 13. He had no luck early, but when they run home their last half mile in 46 seconds, Dan, they've got to be, well, they have to be so good to, they just can't come over the top of them at them times.
David Hayes is almost about to become a member of the Channel 10 commentary team. David, welcome back to the winner's stall. Gay, I suppose you never get sick of winning, though.
You're never sick of the winning note, are you, David?
No, you can never get sick of it, and I think that horse proved today he's the best horse around, and it's just an absolute pleasure to win with him. He's my absolute favourite horse, and after having all those winners, it's a funny thing to say. If he got beaten, I would have been a little bit disappointed. So it's a thrill to win.
Tell me, how many group races has he won in his career?
That's his sixth Group 1 race, and he's won 3 Group 2s in the space of 12 months. So I don't know what Kingston Town did, but he must be getting pretty close.
He's getting very close. Will he now go straight to Japan?
Yeah, he'll go to Japan. He's done everything I've asked of him, and I'm sure he'll represent the country well.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Kay Waterhouse with David Hayes, and well done. A fantastic effort for David. A great day for him. 5 winners from 6 races. It's going to be a day he'll never, ever forget. It's well done. Great stuff. And very complimentary, too, for the team at his Flemington stables in Melbourne. They do a tremendous job. Gary Pennessy, the foreman, who will be going to Japan with Better Loosen Up. They've really done a tremendous job this spring. Better Loosen Up comes back to scale, and as we watch him come back to scale, we'll take a break, but we'll be back here shortly at Famous Flemington. Welcome back to Flemington. What an exciting day, certainly from a race caller's point of view. I don't think there's anything better, and it's only going to get better because the Victoria Derby, the Hong Kong Bank Victoria Derby, will be most exciting. It's a classic race, and it is the main race today. Correct weights there on the McKinnon Stakes. 1, 9 and 5. Better Loosen Up first, defeating Stylish Sentry and Mr. Brooker in a fantastic finish. 1, 9 and 5. And let's check the dividends across this great nation of ours.
On the McKinnon Stakes, Better Loosen Up returned $1.20 to win and 70 cents to place. Win number 4 for Michael Clark, number 5 for David Hayes on the day. Second, 9, Stylish Sentry, 80 cents. And third, number 5, Mr. Brooker, $7.85. The Quinella, $1.95. And the trifecta on 1, 9 and 5, $118.60.
Flemington with a fabulous crowd in attendance, and why wouldn't there be to see a run like that? By geez, a good racehorse. Now make that a great racehorse, a true champion. Better Loosen Up, a sensational win there over yet another great racehorse, Stylish Sentry. And next, Victoria Derby, the Hong Kong Bank Victoria Derby, the 136th running of the Victoria Derby, and going live into Hong Kong too. And it'll be called by Apollo Ning, who we met not so long ago. He'll be calling his derby, and spent the last 8 years in Australia. And of course, the rest of the week we're here for Melbourne Cup Day. That'll be a big day. Her Royal Highness the Duchess of York, Fergie, will be here. And we've got a list of celebrities. I probably shouldn't tell you too much about it, because then it won't be a surprise. But we've got a lot to happen on Melbourne Cup Day, but we've got a lot to happen here too, and that's the running of the Victoria Derby at 10 minutes past 4. So that's only half an hour away. But let's go down to the track for the presentations to that great racehorse and his connections for Better Loosen Up.
Mr. Prime Minister, Premier, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, what a wonderful race to perpetuate the memory of one of Australia's great racing administrators, LKS McKinnon. This race is proving to be, and has always proved to be, a tremendous lead-up to the Melbourne Cup. I would like to congratulate particularly David Hayes. What a wonderful effort. He's only had his license for about 3 months, and he wins 5 races on Derby Day. That's a fantastic effort, and I'm sure you will all join with me and the club to congratulate David. And we mustn't forget Michael Clark. We mustn't forget Michael Clark either. Congratulations to Mr. Leon Fink, Mesdames J.Y. and L, and Mr. A. Farah, and Mr. L. Kubi.
Yes, indeed. Congratulations on a great win by a great racehorse, Better Loosen Up. He is, without a doubt, the best racehorse in the country.
Yes, thanks, Dan. Well, Neville, on face value, Citizen probably looked a bit disappointing, but reflecting, the race probably wasn't run to suit him.
Oh, no, he drew the outside, and instead of sitting 3 and 4 wide, I elected to drop back and steady early, and they walked the first half mile in the race, and then it was a sprint home, and he couldn't sprint with them. The edge was taken off him from that run last week, but he whacked away at the finish, and with a run of a 2 mile horse, I think.
Yeah, well, you probably almost want that 3 days before a Melbourne Cup. You don't really want a horse unleashing a tremendous burst. You want one that's going to stay to 2 miles on Tuesday.
That's exactly right, Peter.
All right, well, you've had a bit of a disappointment this week. It's good luck for Mick Dittman, but bad luck for yourself. How did you feel when you found out that Mick had won his appeal?
Oh, I was very happy for Mick. I'm a jockey, and I'm a jockey's man. No one likes to see any jockeys suspended, especially this time of the year. And I'm very happy for Mick, and I wish him all the best on Tuesday.
Will you be coming down to have a look at the race?
No, I don't think so. I think I might be even going to Hamilton and have a few rides around the bush.
So finally, Nev, anyone who was thinking of backing Citizen in the Cup, you wouldn't dissuade them after today's run?
Oh, certainly not. He's a great horse, and he ran a mighty race on Tuesday.
Nev, thanks for your time. We appreciate it.
Thanks very much, Peter.
Neville Wilson, who rode Citizen in today's LKS McKinnon Stakes, and Tim, still one of the top fancies for Tuesday's Foster's Melbourne Cup.
Indeed he is. I like him, and we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll build it up for you to the big one, the Victoria Derby, in just under 20 minutes.